Doubles and coffee. This morning, I ain't bothering to use no UNC points, no UNC opinion. I'm going to read from a PNM, a staunch PNM man, about the PNM failure, about Stuart Smallpin Young, about Keith Christopher Rowley. Let me read from former Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable LaHunt, right? He says about Stuart Young, when Stuart Young was basically saying, hey, I stay quiet, I am a leader, I'm here in the PNM, I'm classy, I never came here to serve myself or to enrich myself or my people around me. I came here for national service. Yes, Stuart Young, but 100 recusals. You score a century of recusals, but no, you didn't do anything to enrich yourself. But let me do say anything, because you all already know what I think about Stuart Richard Young, about Keith Christopher Rowley. So let's hear from a PNM, right? Let us be clear. The last general election was very much a referendum on the PNM. Its past governance, its proposed future under your leadership, says LaHunt to Stuart Young. The campaign, as we all witnessed, was centered heavily on you as the face of the next generation. We claimed that you were dynamic, assertive, and carrying forward the legacy of Dr. Rowley. In fact, many within the party and the wider electorate voiced concern that the campaign became too personalized, too centered on one individual, rather than reflecting the collective vision of the PNM. That approach was rejected soundly, says LaHunt to Stuart Young. The PNM lost close to a third of its base. What? I nearly lose it. They like the PNM. Jumbie don't want me to read it, but. And I thank my honorable colleague, Brian Bigg, Senator, for lending me his phone to do this doubles and coffee. That I was among those who questioned the circumstances surrounding your emergence. That approach was rejected soundly, says LaHunt about Stuart Young. In your recent statement, you reference your personal electoral success in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. While that is duly noted, we must be honest. We must obviously be honest. Winning your seat in a deeply entrenched PNM constituency while the party was routed nationally is not an extraordinary feat. To use a sporting analogy, when a team loses 10-1 in football, it is inappropriate for the captain to boast about scoring the lone goal. Leadership in defeat demands introspection, not applause, says LaHunt to Stuart Young. This is not a UNC, you know. This is not the Douglas, you know. This is not we, you know. This is PNM on PNM. In such a context, the minimum expectation is an acknowledgement of missteps and a sincere apology to the population and to the party. LaHunt, you want an apology from Stuart Richard Young? Well, you hold your breath for that one. What is needed now is humility, contrition, and a commitment to rebuilding from the ground up. Rebuild what? Y'all are shattered and will continue to remain battered like chili BB. If y'all feel you getting up the floor, the people have realized that the PNM is over. Even I, the Douglas, have to agree with David Abdullah. I never thought I would ever say those words out of my lips. I agree with the MSJ leader, David Abdullah, that the days of the PNM are long gone and over. The PNM is a spent force. They've oppressed this country for too long. And with the visionary leadership with heart and soul, intelligence, brilliance of Kamla Prasad and the UNC, it's best the PNM disbands, rebrands, and come again. So LaHunt continues to shatter his former leader, his prime minister of one day, Stuart Richard Young. He says political maturity requires the ability to admit when things have gone wrong and the wisdom to rebuild with a renewed sense of purpose. I sincerely hope that this period in opposition is used wisely Well, Stuart Smallpin Young mightn't stay in opposition too long, or you might have a by-election, because that arrogant individual who seems to be going into St. Anne's to live by the hospital, because he say he served the people and he never went there to enrich himself or his family, but he recused himself 100 times. His father get 15 million a year for the 10 years to build up the IFC, not one IFC investment team. His brother moved from zero public sector work up to $4.2 billion in the first 5 years. The master of recusal says that he went there to serve you, the people. So that is PNM Bacchanal. I just used that today in Doubles and Coffee to let you all know that it's not the UNC alone that realized that the PNM is spent, that the oppressive, dictatorial, arrogant behavior of the PNM is over, that it's the era of new governance under Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, of transparency, accountability, and knowing that once you accept the responsibility of earning taxpayers' dollars, there's no privacy. So when pariah lawyers are not listening to the Prime Minister but espousing their own principles in a court case, you know that something is wrong. We must rid this country of the PNM not for 5 years but forever. So stay blessed and listen out, Parliament and the Senate. The UNC will destroy the PNM today once again. Bless.